So good morning and welcome. I'm Tiffany. Thanks for joining me this morning. Let's go ahead and meet in Sukhasana, that easy seated pose. So we can sit with our heels staggered. If you're more comfortable, you can cross at the ankles, activating your hips a little bit more, or you can move deeper to the mid-shins, whatever feels right for you. If none of these do, and you'd like to take blocks and place them under your knees to give you a little more ease, go ahead and do that. Or you can take the block and sit on the front edge of it, which then tilts your pelvic forward, giving you some release into those hips. So whatever feels best for you. If sitting with your legs crossed is not comfortable, we can always sit on our shins or whatever you feel like for today. So I just want you to find that ease for your body. And then before we get into any of our pranayama or breath work, what I want you to do is establish sitting up nice and tall. So go ahead and take your fingertips behind the back. Push your fingertips into the earth and feel yourself lift your heart up out of your pelvic. So you're sitting nice and tall, then release the hands in front. If you still need that support, leave your hands behind. Otherwise, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. If not, just take a light gaze to the tip of your nose. And just feel yourself relaxing into this space. The ability to let go of all your thoughts and to-do lists. Letting this next hour on your mat be just for you. Create that stress-free, problem-free zone. Notice the sit bones anchoring you to the earth. The crown of the head lifting you to the sky. If you need to roll your shoulders back and down to find ease in those shoulders, allow that to happen. Notice the breath moving through the nose. So trying to erase the mind and let it go blank is not the goal. What I want you to understand is your thoughts are going to be floating in and out of your mind. But what we need to do here is acknowledge them and then let them go. So this time on your mat isn't about thinking of a to-do list. It's being in this present moment while you're connected to the body. Finding ease in your practice as you are the student of your body and adjusting for that feedback. So go ahead and take one hand to the heart and one hand to the stomach. And let's work through that 3-part breath. So as you inhale, feel your belly expand. Then bring the air behind your heart, feeling your chest lift. And then the air catches in the back of the throat. And when you exhale, you're going to release from the back of the throat. You'll feel the chest release and the belly pull in nice and tight. So taking this at your own pace, start that nice big inhale, filling the belly, then bringing the air behind the heart and floating it up into the back of the throat. Releasing from the throat, feel the chest release and the belly draw in. And continue to move this breath at your own pace. Feel like your body is a balloon and you fill it up a third, another third, and then the last third. And then slowly release a third, another third, and then it's completely empty. Do this 2 more times. When you finish that last 3-part breath, release the arms and take a moment to change the lead leg. If you need to take your fingertips behind your back, reestablish lifting tall, and then release the hands back around in front. Feel free to keep the eyes closed and continue with these deep breaths, but not the 3-part. Just let the air flow into the body nice and deep and release it nice and deep. Take a pause between your inhale and exhale, so there is a definite start and stop to each part of the breath. Understand this is your journey. It is not a race. It is not about the poses that I give you on the mat. It's about where you need to take the body today. Listening to the body, relaxing, and letting go. Making those adjustments so you feel safe. On that next inhale, circle sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale the hands down and through the midline. Again, inhale, circle up to the sun. Exhale down and through. One more time. Inhale, circle up to the sky. And as you exhale, bring the hands to rest at the heart center and let your chin release towards the chest. Be careful of buckling down into the low back. Still keep the heart lifting so we have this straight spine. It's just a release of the chin. Take a moment here. My theme for you this month is a quote by Les Brown. And that quote is, tell yourself no matter how hard it is or how hard it gets, I'm going to make it. We've come into a strange time in our lives where we're all in this quarantine. And some of us have been in our homes for many, many weeks now. And so understanding that we're going to make it. We're all in this together. Make sure that you reach out to those that you love and care about, but also taking care of you. This time on your mat, this me time, something to do that is just for you. Make sure you fill yourself up so you have the ability to take care of others. Gently blink the eyes open as you come into the present. Go ahead and bring the hands in front. Just resting your fingertips in front. And some of you are going to stay here, and others, let's walk our hands forward and just drop down onto those forearms. If not, stay up on your hands, but I want you to push back into your sit bones, keeping your glutes anchored to the mat. So whether your arms are up or down, just depends on what your hips feel like. So as you hold here, let your head and neck relax. If you're down on your elbows, lift them up. And on an inhale, take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, walk your hands over to the left side and feel like your right ribs are trying to pull towards that left knee. But keep pushing your sit bones back down into the earth. While you're holding, maybe you can walk your right hand 1 or 2 more inches or stack it on top of the left. Again, head and neck relaxing. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, walk those hands over to the right. And you'll find your stopping point and settle here. Press the hands into the earth and then pull your left ribs across. And either stay here as you settle or start to walk that left hand over. And maybe it stops after 1 or 2, or you can stack your left hand on top of your right, really twisting and then letting the head and neck relax. Inhale, walk your hands back to center. Exhale, rise up nice and tall. And as we come up nice and tall, I want you to move that right leg behind so you're coming into seated Z. So as we make our way into seated Z, we sit up nice and tall. And then inhale, bring the arm to the sky, and exhale into this side stretch. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, side stretch. So just a little flow of breath with movement. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hold here. Inhale, stretch a little longer. Exhale, turn your chest down to the earth. Inhale, draw the elbow back, open the chest up to the sun, and then rise back up nice and tall. Inhale, side stretch. Exhale, turn the chest down. Inhale, open up to the sky. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, side stretch. Exhale, turn down. Inhale, open up. Exhale, rise. Good. From here, what I want you to do is go ahead and step that right foot in front of your left shin, and just a gentle twist here. Take your left hand to your shin, right hand behind, just like we did in the beginning. Inhale, pull yourself up tall, and then exhale, spin towards that right hand. So just seeing how your back feels as we make this first twist. And then release, come back to center. Release your right leg down and take your left leg behind. Now, if this is not comfortable for you in any way, go ahead and keep yourself in easy seated. You don't have to come here. First, inhale, rise up. Exhale, over into that side stretch. Inhale, breath with movement. Exhale, side stretch. One more time. Hold here. Inhale, stretch a little deeper. Exhale, open the chest. Inhale, rise back up. So again, we come into that side stretch. We turn down to the earth. We open to the sun. And we rise up. One more time. Side stretch. Turn down. Rotate open. And rise up. Bring your left foot in front of the right ankle, or wherever it's most comfortable. Take your right hand to the shin, left fingertips behind. Inhale, push up. Exhale, twist. As we release and come back to center, turn in either direction on the mat. But if you want to stay in the same direction as me, I'm going to turn to the right side of my mat. And let's go ahead and lay all the way back. So as we set up for some bridge work, what I want you to do is make sure your feet are close enough that you can tickle those heels. So we don't want them touching our butt. We don't want them far away. We want our knees and ankles to support one another in this movement. Give a little tuck of the shoulder blades under the body, and notice the chin going parallel to the mat instead of pulling to the sky. So drop that chin down. Let's inhale, lift our hips off the mat, pressing them to the sun, squeezing our inner thighs together. Exhale, lower down. Your inhale is to send those hips to the sky. Your exhale is to send them back down to the earth. 2 more times, and then we're going to do a little brain work with this. It is a mind-body class. And let's go ahead and lift and lower one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. So your arms are going to be opposite of the legs. So when you inhale and lift your hips, they're going to go to the sky. Arms are going to stay down. But when you exhale, lower, take the arms overhead. Inhale, hips up. Arms come back down to the mat. Exhale, hips down. Arms reach overhead. So just remember, when your hips are up, your arms are down. When your hips are down, your arms are stretching overhead. I want you to do this 3 more times. We're not here to be perfect, so if your arms and legs are moving at the same time, it is okay. And then when you hold your hips down and the arms are overhead, bring the fingertips to the temple. So our powerhouse is our core, and we want to keep that core strong and build strength into it. So as you inhale, lift your knees over your hips, crunch up, and then exhale, come back down. You don't have to lift your feet. Exhale, crunch, elbows stay wide, inhale, release. Exhale, crunch. And I need you to do this 3 more times. And on that last one, release the feet, but then take this left ankle and cross it over the right thigh. Either leave your right foot on the earth or bring it up over your knee. Your right shoulder twists over to your left knee. Here we go. Exhale, twist. Inhale, open. Exhale, inhale. Twist and open. I want you to do this 3 more times. And 2. And 1, and we have 2 sides to this amazing body, so change legs, either foot is down or foot is up, and here we go. Twist and release. Exhale. Remember, we're not leading with our elbow. Twist with the shoulder. Just like in our poses, I'm going to ask you to twist from belly button to shoulder. 2, and last one. As you come back to center, go ahead and release and hold the hamstrings. Making your way into boat prep. Go ahead and flex those feet like you're going to push them through the wall. Rock yourself up and hold. Can you hold your shins to the sky? Keep the power in the feet and hold the hamstrings or release out to those toes. Pull your heart to the sun. Just hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make your way into table pose, coming to all fours. So as we come into table pose, we want to take our hands underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips, finding this stack of shoulders to wrists, hips to knees. And just take a few rounds of your cat and cow. So when you're ready, exhale into cat, rounding the back, tuck the chin and tailbone under. And then inhale to cow, arch the back, lift forehead and tailbone. So exhale, round. Inhale, arch and lift. And for some of us, we're going to push our hands into the mat, and we're going to push our shins into the mat, really feeling the body fire up. Others, you may find your body doing something a little different, and that's because you're doing what feels best for you. Take cat and cow one more time. And come back to that neutral spine of table. Now, when we lower onto our stomach to do our back strengthening work, or anytime we lower onto our stomach, if you're pregnant or protecting a back, I want you to move into spinal balance. Extending here, coming back in, extending here, coming back in. And you can continue to do that. Also, if you're pregnant or protecting a back, you may want to eliminate any of our twisting poses. It is up to you on what feels best. But from here, let's start to sink our hips towards our heels for child's pose. Some of us will sink all the way back. Some of us may only make it halfway. So whatever feels best for you, there is no wrong. It's what your body needs. As you're here, let your head and neck relax, but walk your fingertips out nice and long. Uttita Balasana, extended child's pose. And I'm going to keep my head lifted so you can hear me, but go ahead and take your forehead down onto the mat. And then just keep reaching nice and long. Let's inhale forward to kneeling plank, bring the chest over the thumbs. Let's fire up that upper body by doing that half crocodile. So we bend our elbows into our ribs and only lower halfway down. Inhale, press up. Exhale, hinge back. So inhale forward to the hands. Exhale, little bend. Inhale, press up. Exhale, hinge back. Imagine you're holding the blocks between your elbows as you're doing this. So we want our elbows to graze the ribs. Be careful of chicken wings. Hug it in and back, not out to the side. I need you to take this 2 more times. Try to keep your shoulders higher than the elbow crease, just so we don't load the shoulders. On this last one, take a release back into child's pose. Now, 8-point press is part of our sun salutation this month. And so some of you may not be able to get your bodies into 8-point press as of right now. You're on a journey, that's okay. In time, it can get there. So you're going to continue with that yogi push-up style. Otherwise, let's inhale forward to kneeling plank and turn our toes under. We have 6 parts touching the body, hands, knees, and toes. Let's exhale all the way down to our chest and chin touches. Our hips stay up in the air. So chest, chin, hands, knees, toes. Now you can push back up if you're pregnant or protecting a back. Otherwise, release your toes and pull your chest through to cobra, hips down, elbows bent. Exhale, push up into kneeling plank and float back to child's pose. Let's take this one more time. Inhale forward to kneeling plank, turn the toes under. Lower like you're going into crocodile and then pass down to bring your chest and chin to the mat. Release toes, scoop the chest through, elbows stay bent. So in Cobra, Bhujangasana means snakes. Snakes don't have hands. So if you're pushing up with your hands, pull up with those back muscles. So if you release your hands, you're not very high. Now press back up into kneeling plank. Let's turn our toes under and move into down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Some of you, when you get here, you automatically pedal your heels. That's fine. Others, you'll come into this pose and maybe keep the knees bent. Others will straighten the legs. What I want you to do is think of your hands right now. I want you, and you hold down dog, I want you to think of your hands, and there's these little muscles right between your thumbs. And when you push into the mat, and push a little firmer between the thumb and index finger, you'll activate that muscle. We want that muscle to be active so it fires up your arms, and our arms are working, not loading into the shoulders, pushing our ribs back towards our thighs. Then from here, I want you to float your left foot off the mat and bend the knee like you're going to kick your butt. Then bring the knee down towards the mat, make a little circle, open it up, and come around. If you want to do this in table, right, we can do this in table one more time around and then change directions. So you can do this in three-legged, or you can take this in table. I want you to go one more time around and then hold, kick the legs straight, then release that foot to the earth. Take a moment to come down and float back to sit on your heels in this Virasana variation. Take a moment here, stretch the wrists, fingers up, fingers down, stretch the back of the hand. Turn the right palm up, stretch the fingers back, turn them up, stretch them, and you'll see this stretch again later in the class. Come back into down dog. Let's do the leg circles on the other side. Again, press your ribs back to your thighs, looking towards your feet or your ankles. Then float the right leg up. Try not to open the hip. Hips are closed. Then bend the knee. Now drop your knee down, circle it out to the side, back up to the sky, and down again. You're going to feel yourself maybe leaning a little heavier into that left hand. Still push heavy into the right. Go one more time in this direction, and then pause. Then lift your knee up, circle out to the side, and then down. So 2 more times in this direction. Last one. And then when you come back here, extend the leg, release your foot, and go ahead and walk your feet forward to your hands, coming into forward fold, Uttanasana. This is a deep stretch for your hamstring. So if you're like, bend your knees or grab your blocks and use those blocks. Sound effects are welcome. I know you're breathing if you're making your noises. Inhale, rise up to the sky. Grab that left wrist. And I'm going to turn and face you. You can still face to the side. Exhale, side stretch. Inhale, center. Grab the right wrist. Exhale, side stretch. Inhale, I'm going to turn back to come up tall, and exhale into forward fold. Now, when you get to this fold, hug the elbows, let the fingers touch, or use your blocks. Let's do that again. Inhale, rise up. Grab the left wrist and stretch over to the right. Inhale up, grab the right wrist. Exhale, stretch to the left. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Now, if you grabbed one elbow, do that now, and then switch the grip. So we make sure it is an opposite grip. One more time. Inhale, rise up. Grab the left wrist. Stretch over to the right. Inhale, rise up. Grab the right wrist. Stretch over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, fold. So as you take this fold, I want you to tip forward to your toes, rock back to your heels, to the left, to the right, and then settle into center. Inhale, rise back up to the sky. Exhale, hands into the heart. So as we move into this sun salutation, it is still this one breath, one move. It's not about how fast you can move for warming up. It is about matching breath with movement, this vinyasa. So take your time. It is your breath with your movement, not mine. So I'm going to cue at my breath, but I want you to move at your pace. So let's bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, rise to the sky. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingers can go to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees for kneeling lunge and send that right knee back and look forward. Instead of down, I want you to pull your heart forward. Release into kneeling plank. Send that left knee back, chest over thumbs. Exhale, child's pose. Here comes that 8-point press. So inhale forward to kneeling plank, turn toes under. Lower and either stop here or continue so chest and chin can touch the mat. Chest, chin, hands, knees, toes. Unlock toes, scoop through to cobra on your inhale, and then exhale back to child's pose. Inhale the right foot forward to that kneeling lunge, and then look straight ahead. Pull your chest like it's coming past your knee. And then exhale into your fold. Inhale, rise up to the sky. Exhale, hands into heart. Again, rise to the sun on that inhale. Fold to the earth on your exhale. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees, prep for that kneeling lunge, but now send the left knee back. Look straight ahead. Let your hips drop heavy here. Even if you are at 90, it's okay, look straight ahead. But you're gonna have to move that knee back a couple times so you can release into kneeling plank. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale forward to kneeling plank, turn toes under. Exhale, 8-point press, chest and chin to the mat. Release toes, cobra, inhale, scoop the chest through. Exhale, back to child's pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge, left foot forward. Help that foot, if it's back here, grab it, help it forward, look forward. Then exhale into forward fold. Inhale, reverse up to the sky. Exhale, hands into heart. Again, either stay with this kneeling or we'll take it to a full version. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Send the right foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Look straight ahead. Exhale, step into plank or kneeling, but look straight ahead without your chin. Eye gaze forward. Coming to down dog or child's pose. Inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, 8-point press. Inhale, scoop through up dog or cobra. Exhale, hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Inhale, right foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Look forward. Exhale, step into fold. Inhale, rise to the sun. Exhale, hands to heart. Continue to follow your breath. Rise to the sun. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift and fold. Send the left foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Look straight ahead. Right foot back to plank or kneeling. Coming into down dog or child's pose. Float forward into kneeling plank. Lower to 8-point press. Scoop up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Left foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Right foot into fold. Rise up to the sun. Hands into heart. One more time each side. Choose any variation you like. We reach to the sky. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift. Then fold. Send the right foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Look straight ahead. Step into your plank or kneeling. Lift into down dog or lower to child's pose. Then come forward into kneeling plank and exhale to your 8-point press. Scoop up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Right foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Look straight ahead. Left foot into fold. Rise to the sun. Hands into heart. One more round. Rise to the sky. Fold to the earth. Lift halfway. Then fold. Send the left foot or knee back to lunge or kneeling. Right foot back to plank or kneeling. Come into down dog or child's pose. Forward to kneeling plank. Release to 8-point press. Scoop the heart to the sun. Hinge back, Down dog or child's pose. Left foot floats forward to lunge or kneeling. Look straight ahead. Right foot into fold. Rise up to the sky. Hands into heart. Pause. Take a nice deep breath here. Open the mouth, let it out. If at any time you are thinking, I can't do this, I want you to let it go. Do what's best for your body. Take a pause and stand nice and tall. Shift the weight onto your right foot. Bring the left thigh up. As you do that, open the knee out to the side and float into your tree pose. You keep aiming to this narrow edge of your mat. I'm going to turn and face you for a moment. I want you to have your foot on your inner thigh, your calf, or toe to the floor, heel to the ankle. And then bring your hands to the heart. Remember, you're standing towards the narrow edge. Inhale, rise up. Just like we did in the beginning of class, I want you to grab a hold of that left wrist and stretch away from your left thigh. So let me turn back to the edge of my mat. And we're going to take this side stretch. If you're going to fall over, it is okay. But I want you to pull your heart up to the sun, aim your tailbone down to the earth. So we weren't sticking our butt out when we were standing on both legs, right? So come back to center and release your hands behind your back. Moving into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Send that left heel back, release the knuckles down so you can look up or straight ahead. When you do this, be careful when your shoulders pull back that your ribs want to pop. Pull the ribs in. For some of us, reaching back may be a challenge, so holding the elbows or even a knuckle bump is another option. Inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale into warrior bow. So humble warrior or warrior bow. Come and bring your shoulder inside your knee, but pull your right hip in and back. Inhale, rise up into crescent or high lunge. So pivot that left heel to the sky. Inhale the hands to the heart. You're going to take this left elbow towards the right thigh for twisting prayer. Bring yourself around. Then push the right hand into the left and either look down to the earth or look to the top of your right elbow. Release, step into plank. Either hold plank or lower to crocodile. Lift to up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Bring your right foot off the earth and send it towards your hands. Walk your hands to the center of the mat, coming into straddle fold. Turn your heels in, and as you come into goddess, but take your hands onto your thighs. Bring your right shoulder towards the left knee. Come back to center. Bring your left shoulder towards the right knee. Come back to center. Release down and come back into straddle fold. Walk over to your left foot and step into forward fold. Inhale, rise up to the sky. And go ahead and bring your hands down to your hips. And again, we're facing the narrow edge of our mat. Our left foot is now the anchor to lift our right thigh. Moving into tree pose. Open the knee to the side. Take the foot to the inner thigh, the calf, or toe to the floor, heel to the ankle. Stay facing this direction. I'm going to turn and face you. So inhale, rise up. Now grab a hold of the right wrist, and stretch over to the left. And notice how you'll see my leg move and wiggle. I'm trying to find my balance. I may fall out of it, so may you. And that is okay. Just do what feels best for you. If you don't want to stretch to the side, you don't have to. But as you come back up nice and tall, release the arms behind. Imagine you're holding a beach ball. Float into warrior 1. Send that right foot back. If you can, interlace the fingers. Go for the elbows or the knuckle bump. Inhale, lift up tall. Front knee bent, back leg straight. Humble warrior, exhale, bow. Left shoulder inside the left knee. But I want you to look to your right heel and pull your right hip back. rise up into crescent or high lunge. So pivot that heel, release the arms to the sky. I want you to push through both heels. We'll let the airplane pass over. Alright, so as you push through the both heels, inhale, hands to heart for that twisting prayer. Right elbow towards the left thigh. Either look down as you push the left hand into the right, or turn and look to your left elbow. Hugging the left hip in and back, release your hands, step into plank. Lower to crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back, hold down dog. Let's float this left foot off the earth and sweep it to the hands. First, come into straddle fold. Walk your hands to the front of the mat. Turn your toes out or heels in, and inhale, rise up. Come into goddess. Exhale, hands to the inner thighs or your thumbs, it doesn't matter. Bring your left shoulder towards the right. Then bring your right shoulder towards the left. Come back to center, release your hands to the earth, come into straddle, so kick those heels, and then walk over to your right foot, step into forward fold. Inhale, rise up, bring that left knee up. You know this. Open the knee out to the side, then grab the left wrist and stretch over to the right. Release into warrior one. Draw those knuckles down, lift the heart up. Exhale, bow into humble warrior. Inhale, rise up, pivot your heels so you come into crescent or high lunge. And then bring the hands to the heart and come into twisting prayer. Release the hands to the earth. And I want you to inhale. This is going to be different than cat and cow. Inhale, round the back like cat. Exhale, arch. Inhale, round. Exhale, arch. 2 more times. Inhale, round. Exhale, arch. 1 more time. Inhale, round. Exhale, arch. As you look forward, release your knee. Shift back into half monkey. Hold your stretch here. Then rock forward, lift the knee and straighten into pyramid. Hold for a few breaths, hug the elbows in, use those blocks if you need it. Then bring the knee down, rock back into monkey, half monkey. Rock forward, lift into pyramid. Come down, shift back into monkey, so we're still stretching the hamstring. Rock forward, stretch into pyramid. Hold pyramid and flip your heel down. So we're setting up for triangle. So either bring your right hand onto your thigh or your shin or down to the earth and peel that left arm up to the sky. So we can be at our thigh, our shin, some of us hold our ankle, or maybe we go to the floor or we use a block. Windmill into that lunge, step into plank, lower crocodile, lift up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Pick the right foot up, sweep it forward and walk your hands into straddle fold. Rise up and exhale into that goddess, holding those thighs. Spin the right shoulder to the left, come back to center. Left shoulder to right, come center, then let your hands go down and come back into straddle fold. Walk over to that left foot, step into fold, and rise to the sky. Bring that right knee up, open into tree, help that foot first, then as you come back up, grab that right wrist and side stretch. Pull away from your right knee. Yes, release into warrior one. Send the right foot back, interlace fingers, ribs are in. Exhale, humble warrior. Now, when you do this, humble warrior, we're not sticking our butt out to get our head inside the leg. We're hugging the hip in and we're bowing forward. So hug that left hip in and back. And keep that power there. Rising into crescent or high lunge, spin that right heel to the sky. So if that heel is still down, turn it up. That's going to be the rotation from belly button to shoulder, hands to heart, twisting prayer. Release the hands to the earth in that low lunge and look forward. So remember, we're going into this cat and cow. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're taking the breath different on this side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more time. Push through both heels. Now release the right knee down and shift back. Lift the toes. Now we're not trying to sit on that calf. We're just shifting back to straighten the leg, even if you need it bent. Take your stretch here, bend the elbows. And then release forward into lunge and then pick it up and move into pyramid. Now you may need your blocks here, especially since our heel isn't on the floor to support us. Hold here. Some of you may bend the elbows and stretch deeper here. And let's take this little pose sequence. We come down into half monkey. We pass through lunge to come into pyramid. We come down again, half monkey. Pass through lunge to go into pyramid. 2 more times. Watch the hip. Left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward. In both of these poses, I want you to hold in this pyramid. As you hold, flip the right heel down. You can walk your hand up the leg to bring yourself into triangle, or you can go to the shin, the ankle, but we're not tipping forward. Notice when I take the pose to get to the floor, I'm not coming forward to do this and kicking my butt out. I want you to imagine you're against the wall and your back is against the wall. From here, you're going to windmill down into that low lunge and then step into plank. Lower crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Pick the left foot up. We're going to meet in straddle fold. Bring that foot forward. Walk your hands to the center of the mat. As we come into this goddess stretch, rise up. And as you exhale, settle onto those thighs. Take the left shoulder towards the right. Come back to center. Right shoulder towards the left. Come back to center. Release your hands. Come into straddle fold. So, we are going to go from here, walking over to the right foot and step into down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. I want you to float that foot off the earth. Flex the foot, bend the knee, roll the hip open, and either hang here or flip the dog into reverse table or arching over. Instead of reaching by your ear, open out on an angle, stretch and open the chest. Come back into that hip opener. And I want you to float into a lizard lunge, but bring your right knee down. Left knee, you know what I mean. Curl your toes up so you can roll to the edge of the right foot. And I need you to keep your toes curled back so you have that kneecap locked in place. So, here. Alright? While you're here, keep these toes pulling back. A lot of times people will relax. I want you to pull your toes back. Pick your right arm up and circle it back. And see if you can grab for the arch of your left foot. I'm going to come back onto my mat while you hold. There's nothing wrong with holding. It gives you an idea of how your body's feeling. And if you're like, ow, 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 release it. Do what feels right. We release the hands to the earth and we come back into this hip opener. Push up, open the hip. Now inhale forward, bring the knee to the nose. Round and open back up. This can be done in table, right? Our left knee down, knee to nose, hip opens. We did this in the beginning, right? We could be on our knee or we can be in three-legged. One more time. Knee to nose and open. Bring the foot forward, fingers past toes, and lower down. Setting up for Anjaneyasana, warrior lunge. Rise up onto your hands. Either keep the toes turned under or release them, but I want you to open the arms wide. Breathe in all this positivity. Exhale out any negativity. Release the hands to the earth. Step into plank. Lower to crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Float the right leg up. Make your way into straddle fold. You know this. Rise up. Exhale into goddess stretch. Hands to the thighs. Right shoulder to left knee. And then left shoulder to right knee. Come center. Release into that straddle. Walk over to the left foot. Step into down dog. Good. Let's lift that left foot off the earth. Flex the foot, bend the knee, hip rolls open, not our shoulder. We're not turning. Our shoulders are square. It is just the hip. Stay here if you don't want to flip. Otherwise, let that foot drop you around to the earth and either lift up or open out to the side. Come back into hip opener. And let's flow with our left foot outside the hand into that lizard lunge. Release the right knee. Curl your toes up and roll to the edge of the foot. Again, I'll turn and face you. Right? We're rolling foot out. Toes turning back. Anchor into the right hand as the left arm reaches up and around. Don't forget about your toes. And then some of you will reach for the arch of that foot. If you get a cramp in your right hamstring, you gotta let this stretch go. It's not worth it to hang out there and just watch and feel the muscle get tighter and tighter and tighter. So go ahead and release. Come back into hip opener. Now let's give this a little power flow. Inhale forward, knee to nose. Open back up. Inhale forward, knee to nose. Open up 2 more times. Lots of pushing into the earth. We're gonna need this for our arm balance. Now come into Anjaneyasana, warrior lunge. Toes past the fingers, knee down. So if you ended up back here, why not grab the ankle, bring that foot forward, drop the hips. Stay here. There's no rule that says you have to rise up. Unlock your toes. So you can stay, come up onto your thigh, but notice my right hip. I didn't pull it back over my right knee. I'm still dropping it forward. If you want to stay here, or open the arms up. Heart lifts, ribs in. Are you ready for your last vinyasa? Release the hands to the earth. Step into plank. Lower to crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Yay! That's the last vinyasa. Float your left foot off the mat. Sweep it forward to your hands and meet me in straddle fold. Now I want you to play around and have fun here. And if you have to come up halfway and see me talking for a moment, you're going to walk your feet out. Heel toe them all the way out to the edges of the mat, or how far can you take your straddle? Not to the point where you're screaming in your head, ow, 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 but how far can you go in your straddle? It's not a competition. If you feel like your legs are going to fall off, then make the movement smaller. Smaller. Do you like that? When you're ready, come back up. Heel toe your feet back in and go walk over to your right foot. And from here, bring your left knee down, just a fancy way. Kick that foot to the side and go ahead and sit. Ta-da! And extend your left leg out. All right, we are working this elephant trunk pose. And it is Eka Hasta Bhujasana. So Eka meaning one, Hasta meaning foot, or one leg over arm. So we did a lot of pushing, and remember I said you're going to see that wrist stretch again. So what I want you to do is take your right arm straight out, palm up to the sky, grab a hold of those fingers, stretch back. Then turn those fingers to the sky, stretch back. Release the fingers down, stretch back. And change it to the other side. You may be asking, why are you making me do a harder pose at the end of class? Well, our bodies are so warmed up and stretched out for most of the work that's required for this pose that we should have some extra strength. And then the other part is, as soon as you're done with this, you get to stretch and go into Shavasana. So you know that this will be required a little bit more of energy, and then you can relax. All right, so let's take our hands forward of our hips. Some of you may need fists for wrists. All right? Some of you may need fists for wrists, but I don't want your thumbs out. We want our thumbs to stay where they're located. Sometimes if we push too far, they may go into a location we don't find comfortable. So you can wrap your thumbs up around your knuckles, press fist to wrist, or use your hands. You can still stay facing the length of the mat. I just wanted to face you so you can see push to lift, get your bottom off the floor. Come on down. If you're pushing and you're like, my bottom is not lifting, that is the beginning of your journey. Don't get discouraged. You've got this. Let's do it 2 more times. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Now, when you're doing this, it is not a straight back. We are rounding our upper back here. But notice I'm not loading into my low back, and I'm just moving my shirt out of the way. We're still up tall here, but my upper back is rounding, right? And that's what I want you to do as you pick up your leg. So push to lift and bring your right foot off the floor. Come on down. Do that one more time because you have your left leg. Push to lift your left leg up, and come on down. If you're like, yeah, that didn't work for me, okay, go back to pushing and lifting, or go back to just pushing. Maybe there's no lifting. It's okay. All right. So then we're going to take a hold of our left foot and hold at the knee. And then we're going to rock and roll. And some of you already know this pose, and maybe you're going to go into it and hold it, but I want those who don't know how to do the pose to find their way into it eventually. So then we take the knee back. Notice I'm not opening my hip, just the knee comes back. We did a lot of work for the hips as well. And then your hand comes forward. So we're trying to get the knee behind the shoulder, right? Then if you can take your arm underneath the leg, almost like you're taking your leg over your shoulder, but we're not going there. We want our knee and our shoulder to be close by. If you are farther down the leg, I don't want you to push to lift too much. I don't want any pressure into your elbow. So bring the leg to wherever it's comfortable. Remember, we're rounding from the belly button, pulling up and in. Our upper back is rounding, not from our low back. And then can you push to lift your bottom off the floor? Both feet are active, pointing or flexing, it doesn't matter. Then can you lift your right foot off the floor? If you're like, yeah, none of that's happening, don't worry about it. Then release and shake it out. So we may feel like our hips are still really stiff and it's not accessible. That's where we have that shaky, shaky. We don't have to go any farther than that. All right, so stretch the wrists out again. This time I do it a little faster. Do what you'd like. All right, and then we set up for the other side. So we take the right hand to the outside of the knee, left hand to the arch, and we rock and roll. Remember, it's not called yoga perfect. It's called a yoga practice. Anything that we want to accomplish takes practice. So if you expect me to just drop onto the mat and do something, it's taken me time to learn these things, to get my body to cooperate. And some days are easier than others, and you're going to find the same thing. All right, bring the knee back. Take your hands to the bottom of the foot and see if you can get that knee behind the shoulder. If it's not there, don't worry. Maybe you're going to stay here and that's your stretch for today. Others, you're going to take the leg over the arm, and the block for a lot of us will help us get our butts off the floor. So, shoulder hugging to knee, knee hugging to shoulder. We press in to lift, rounding from the upper back, and then we pull that left heel off the ground. Now, what I want you to make sure is I'm not pushing my hand like this into the block. That's a lot of strain into the wrist. Think of having little suction cups on your fingers, and you're almost palming a basketball, like you were trying to hold the block with your fingers still connected, but maybe a little space in the center of your palm is not touching. That will give you some more ease in those wrists. All right? If you're like, are we done yet? Yes, we are. Go ahead and take those blocks off to the side. You're like, keep talking so I can relax more. Don't worry. I want you to send your right leg out to the side, left leg tucks in. Let's do a little side stretch. So when we take this side stretch, I want your right hand outside your right hip. Forget about your right leg. It's just there for decoration right now. Some of you may need your block, or even higher. It's up to you. Hand outside, inhale up, stretch to the side. Notice I'm not lifting off my bottom to get my hand over somewhere. Push your right hand into the floor. Send your left hip heavier to the mat. All right, now those of you that are like, but my foot. All right, bring your hand onto your thigh. Others, you can stay there. Slide your shoulder inside the leg and then find your stretch with a twist. All right, so notice the difference of being over here than being in here. Slowly rise up. We have two legs. Bring the right leg in, left leg out. You're like, I know I have two legs. For some of us, the stretching isn't about it being easy. It's about getting more flexible. So let go of where you think you should be and allow your body to stretch here. Left hand outside the hip, big side stretch here. Now stay here. Otherwise, come inside or onto that thigh, slide down that leg, and maybe you'll find that foot, but twist, twist, twist. Inhale, rise up. All right. When we turn in either direction on your mat, I need your feet as wide as your mat. So your feet are going to be wide. Before you lay down, let me show you what you're doing. So watch me first. Your feet are going to be wide. You're going to roll your knees over to the left. You're going to take the outer blade of your left foot, hook it over the right, and release. Then you're going to turn and look to the right. If you're like, yeah, my foot is not going on top of my thigh, feet are as wide as the mat and they'll stay here. So go ahead and lay back. Feet as wide as the mat. First, like a windshield wiper, roll your knees to the left. Keep your right shoulder on the floor. Keep your right hand pushing into the mat or floor. Take your left foot up into the outside of your right thigh and let the weight of that left leg pull your right leg a little bit more. But I want you to push your right hip to the left. So we're not just sinking here, we're pushing the hip, squeezing the glute, right shoulder down, and then turn and look to your right hand. Release, open your left foot up to the width of the mat so our feet are wide. Roll to the right. All right? Now, we've rolled, but we can push that hip a little bit more, right? We can leave it here, or we can push it. Take the outer blade of your right foot onto the left thigh. Open up. Turn and look to the left. Are you still pushing your left hip? But is your left shoulder still glued to the mat? You'll know how it feels, and you'll make adjustments for that. When you release the muscles, uncross the leg, bring the knees up. Heel toe the feet together and give a little hug of the legs into the body. Now, either holding at your shins or your hamstrings, bring your forehead up towards your knees, little tuck, and then slowly release the body to the earth for your final pose, Shavasana. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. Feel the body melt into the earth. Connect with the heaviness of your body into the mat. The breath moving through the nose. Relax here until you hear the 3 small chimes. stay here or begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Then extend the arms over the head and take a nice big inhale as you reach long through fingers and toes. And on an exhale, give your body a nice big hug. Fill it with love and gratitude for this amazing body you have, all that it does for you. And then take a slow roll to one side. Press into those hands and rise up into easy seated. And we bring the hands to the heart. Let's take our own first before closing the class. Nice big inhale. The light in me honors and respects the light in you. So I invite you to smile and finish with Namaste.